Okay, Lisa and Daniel, are you guys both ready?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So welcome everyone. This is the showing for Lisa Parra, who is among one of the amazing guests. So earlier today, we had Faye Driscoll showing, and tomorrow we will have Jackie and Lee at 2:15 p.m. and Milka at 3:30 p.m. So within this performance, I'm going to provide you all with a few instructions before we get started. So while we are meeting here at Zoom at our starting place, the showing will actually take place outside of Zoom. So after that, we'll return, after the showing, we'll return back here where we'll have a post once I'm finished talking. So first, in order for you all to have sound during the performance, please leave your Zoom meeting open. So even though we're going to go to another link, please leave this Zoom meeting open. And please turn off your audio and your video during the showing. Second, I will provide you with the URL that you will go to once I put it into the chat. Third, please note that this URL only works. Go ahead and desktop computer, right? And lastly, the fourth instruction is that once you get to this URL that I will provide, you will be able to navigate through 4 different URLs, each one which is dedicated to one of the performers in Lisa's cast. On the page itself, there will be directions that will help you navigate the performance, but a little, yes, once you get there, there'll be directions that will help you navigate. And feel free to reach out in case you have questions. So with all that being said, I'm going to put these directions into the chat and give you all access to the URL. Please, again, turn off your audio and your video. Thank you all.
All right. And begin.
Oh.
One, two, three. 1, 2.
Come on now.
Words, 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 words.
And end. So thank you, ladies. Yay. I guess people could turn their cameras back on now. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Kara, Yingru, Lindsay, and Maya. I just first want to thank them for this quarter. It was a real pleasure and joy to work with them and to be a part of this process. It was a little crazy, as we all know, but yeah, it's they're fantastic. And also, yeah, so it's a bit of a double. I guess I'll just talk a little bit about the process of it. So I had to sort of switch everything around for this quarter, number one. So, but it was really just about a series of translations that they worked through. I started with a specific like a specific found clip that I found of actually a dance party scene. And then they just kept translating it in different variations in series, and then kind of settled on just a few scores from it. And then Daniel came in, Daniel Pinheiro, who's waving right there. He's my one of my collaborators, and he's based in Portugal, and so he's chiming in here, helping out from there. I decided to do this web browser setup for performance as a way to give different views and basically of the performance. So just sort of break out of this grid of Zoom. And so, yeah, that's kind of how the browser setup came to play, and Daniel orchestrated the whole thing using a very DIY but effective setup, and with Jitsi and Hot Glue. So there's no coding involved, nothing super fancy, but that was it. Yeah, and I'd really just decided to work with the dancers of where they were at, not only in their physical environments, but also in their as them as who they are as people and their own backgrounds and yeah, it's kind of so I'm open for any thoughts or how you experienced it. It's kind of all of an experiment too, especially with the browsers. So Daniel and I are really interested to hear how that worked out for you all as well. So
Lisa, you have a question in the chat from Dan Root, and he asks, "What is a cycle mode?" So it was on the instructions.
It was on the what?
A cycle mode. Cycle mode.
The cycle mode.
I believe on the instructions, the dancers connected.
Daniel can answer that one.
Yeah. It had to do on how the actually for today the cycle mode wasn't being activated, and we should have erased that. But the idea was that the dancers, the performers, were connecting. So I would be connecting to someone, that person would be connecting to the following one, and that if we were three, that person would be connecting to me. So it in a cycle mode, meaning that actually in this case the performers, dancers, they could only see one person, which was the person they were connecting to, and not this kind of relationship that we have on Zoom. So, but cycle mode didn't happen today, as I said it right now, but it's all very experimental, and we left it there. I hope it kind of answers the question.
Yeah. So each dance. So Kara was connected to Maya, and Lindsay was connected to Yingru. So they could each see each other, but all four could not see each other at the same time, is what I'm saying.
Lionel?
First of all, thank you. In this marathon day of Zoom performances, it's nice to see everyone in different boxes and different places and different whatnots. I just wanted, you had said, what's the experience of that different technology when we transferred over? So I just wanted to say something about how I did, or what I did, which is it took a while to orient and read the instructions. And then I started to click on individual people, and this is just more information about me, but I experienced incredible FOMO. And so I couldn't not watch everybody. Every time I clicked on an individual person, I'd be like, oh, let me see that more clearly. Oh no, what's the other person doing? So my thing was I had to see everyone, and it's hard to know. And I was thinking about it as I was watching it, if that's a result of this Zoom world that we've been in for the last 10 weeks, where I'm used to seeing everyone or not. But that was my experience. I really didn't take advantage of the ability to zoom in on people, or to hone in on one person for a while and not the other three. I stayed with all four virtually the whole time after experimenting with it.
Okay.
So that's that. And then but the other thing is, I just really appreciated the sense of time and the ability, the way they kept changing spaces, and the way that they let us see them change spaces, right? Instead of blacking out, going and coming. So we were able to see the transference. So that was particularly helpful, as well as the time in each space. I forget whose pants they were, but there was this incredible billowing that I got fascinated by for a while. They were outside their garage, and that ability to have those incidental things happen in this time frame of video that is so sped up was really appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you, Lionel.
I had a similar experience with the FOMO, but I did keep going back to the individuals to see those little process details off to the right there, to see, because I kept trying to figure out how, imagine how they might be related to the action, and that was really fun to kind of open up those questions for myself as to where those connections were between what those drawings or words were, and what we're seeing.
Thank you, Dan.
Well,
Hi, Karen.
hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to kill me because I'm so technically I don't understand any of this. So I do not understand the directions. I didn't see directions, and so I only listened to it.
Oh,
And I recently had a piece that was on the mix, which was telephoning in and listening to someone do a piece and who wasn't supposed to be seen.
oh,
So I sort of accepted that this could be happening.
that's cool.
But I really now want to see what was going on, because I had a feeling, no, this could be just it. I mean, it had to be visual. But, dummy me, do I get to see this? Do
We
I
have
get
a
to see this?
recording.
We have a
so-
recording.
Okay, well, good. But, well,
For
what if I
that
was
way, all
blind,
of
So, I mean, I actually did, I
Yeah,
got to see the perspective in the dark, I got to hear it.
yeah, but that's actually interesting.
It was interesting. I was like,
I like that thought. The mistake there. We'll have to talk more. We'll talk more. I want to hear more. Any other thoughts?
I wanted to add one more thing.
Sure.
I just think one of the hardest things about what we're doing right now is how to communicate over these distances. And, you're in New York and people are in different places. KJ, I think your sound's on.
You're muted, Emily. Sorry about that. Speaking to the white folks, do the work and get used to being uncomfortable and
KJ, I think you need to hit mute.
and the discomfort and do the work.
KJ, hit mute. So I think one of the difficulties in this situation is how you're communicating in the world each of us are living in as we're trying to go back and forth across the country, across the boxes, different focuses at different times. And so watching how people are trying to process information that they're getting is, I think, one of the key things. And I would wonder how we could make those, like seeing what the information is that they're processing, more evident. Because I think part of what's interesting about this score is not so much the result of the process, but how, like, seeing the translation and seeing the navigation of all of those. And so I don't know enough about that website or how to make it, but that was something that I kept thinking about.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Lionel. Or Danny, do you want to speak to that?
No, I agree with that, and it was a process of first trying to figure out what we could do outside of Zoom, and I guess especially because it's been a work that me and Lisa, we've been developing this kind of work for a while now, but in this case, Lisa kind of brought me in, of course, due to this whole situation we're going through, and this was a way of breaking out of what was taking over everyone's lives, and I guess the next step would be precisely what Lionel is speaking about, is how to make this especially the individual web pages have at least more information about the process. Those pictures and those drawings and writings were there as an example of that, but just like an example for the time we had to build the whole thing and think about it. So they kind of existed for this showing as an example of precisely what I think what you're talking about. How could these specific web pages for each one of the performers could be filled with more information that could help you understand or help anyone understand, oh, this is how they got here, and these are the translations made. Actually, those drawings and those pictures that are there are part of the translation proposed initially by Lisa to the performers. So they're already a result of that.
Yeah. Anyone else?
But it was a very nice process. Jumping from Portugal to New York and to LA, it's been a very, it's been very interesting doing this.
Yeah. Do any of the performers, Yingru or Kara or Lindsay, Maya, want to say anything?
I was gonna say, I felt personally that the process was really fascinating over the internet and over Zoom because we ended up working a lot with how do we perceive ourselves and how do we look through these boxes and how we navigate spaces through these 2D images. And I found trying to figure out that puzzle really interesting as the process went along because we were translating something that was happening that was being filmed on someone's phone in a 2D image, but we were trying to replicate an experience or translate an experience that was clearly happening in real time that had a certain atmosphere and a certain environment. So I trying to translate that into the score that we ended up making for an audience that was going to see it through the internet and through web browsers was really interesting and eye-opening, and certainly as an artist and as a performer certainly opened my eyes as to the possibilities of how to perform for the screen.
Thank you.
Lisa, what was it about the original dance video that you saw that caught you and made you want to base this project on it, if that's a fair way to say?
Yeah, no, and I should, it's was something I just found, and it's actually a dance scene in a plaza in Mexico somewhere, and it's call out dance. And the actual name for this dance is called retroceso, which is to walk backwards. And as you know, in call out dances, it's like the person's calling out the steps and the people are doing it. And so I was just fascinated with the configuration of them, how they were situated in this open, placita, this open plaza space. The men were on one side in a line and the women were on the other. And the women's actually had their backs to the camera. And they're all just sort of standing, waiting for this man to like start the call out. And then as they start, there's like a lot of this sort of hesitation is when you're like listening to steps and trying to do them at the same time. And so, yeah, I think those were like the things of this idea of like you're calling out something and you're trying to remember, but you don't remember and you forget. And then so you're going back and they're doing this. So in your head, you're doing this and your body's doing this. And, so there's this. And then there's this atmosphere of being outside, and it just was all in this it seemed like in a different time, also, like the sensibility of the way they're dressed. I mean, I don't know when it was taken. It could have been taken at a while ago, or it could have been recent too.
And the call out structure is very beautiful because you can see interpretation, the act of interpretation as being a call out in multiple levels.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Nope. Okay, well, thank you all for joining. It's definitely, I just can't express enough that it's always everyone's like energy and everything was really wonderful to experience and work with. And yeah, I'm just so appreciative of everybody and yeah, the work they did. I know it's not easy, and so yeah, and being out in a different place, and I'm here in New York and late nights, and but it was really beautiful, and I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all great. And I'm really bad at multitasking. If you have any other thoughts that come later, I know this is, I mean, I'm with feedback. I don't mind if, I know it's hard to process too. So if you have things later and you want to write them down to me later in an email, that would be really great. I can put my email here.
I was going to say thank you, Lisa. We appreciated all the interpretive work and translation of the scores. Sorry, my mic for some reason has been hopping on and off today, and I was multitasking. Dance places on the panel right now on Black Lives Matter and the role that the dance community plays in it. So I was trying to be in two places at once sometimes. But I just want to say thank you again for everybody for the support. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, I appreciate you. So much good work. Thank you. And I really do want to do a big dance party in real life. In real time with all of you in realness. Yeah, hopefully soon. Oh, I'm trying to put my email here. Sorry. Okay, so there it is. If you want to reach out to me, send me any more thoughts. I'd love to hear anything extra. And again, thank you, Dan and Lionel, for having me this quarter. It was truly an amazing experience, even online. So.
Where can we find the recording?
Daniel did the, or I don't know.
It's still rendering. I'll probably send it by tomorrow.
Lisa, did you put your email out to everyone, or did you do it private because it's not in the?
Oh, I might have did it to you, Daniel. Oh, here, let me do it again.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
it's here. I know your email already.
You know my email, you do. Okay, did everyone get it? Cool. Good. Again, thank you. And everyone be safe.
Thank you.
Yep.